Welcome back to Under Par Acres. About 6 weeks ago, our channel hit a big milestone of crossing 1,000 subscribers. Around that same time, our putting green video took off and got over 200,000 views. That put us in a spot we never expected, where we've made over $900 in the last 6 weeks, and our plan is to put that revenue right back into the farm. We're starting off by buying a truckload of the topsoil, compost, sand mixed, and we're going to use it to spread all around the putting green. But before we get to work on the putting green, I'm going to knock out one other project I've wanted to do for a long time. I've always wanted to have a strawberry patch in the garden, as my kids go through about 100 pounds of strawberries per week. So I built up a little garden bed with the tractor and the box blade, and now I'm going to go in and top it off with the new topsoil mix we got to help get this thing started. And once I get the strawberry bed ready, I'm going to go ahead and get the plants out. I'm going to plot out where they're going to go. I'm going to dig the holes for them, and I'm going to cover it with a landscape fabric to keep the weeds out. I'm also using a Pro Mix planting soil to give the strawberries the extra nutrients they need to take off. And once I'm finished getting all the plants in the ground, I'm going to water them off thoroughly, and then I'm going to cover the entire bed with a netting to keep the birds and wildlife out. Once I was finished building the strawberry patch, I took the truck and drove it over to the putting green since it's dry enough, and I'm going to use all of the extra topsoil to spread around the edges of the green. I did this back in the fall before I planted the seed, but it's likely something I'll have to do about once a year, as I want to really keep the edges nice and smooth leading into the green. My goal when the grass matures is to slowly start cutting it down into more of a fairway so that we can hit bump and runs onto the green. The problem I've noticed is that I get a little bit of erosion from water that runs off the green during rainstorms, but also I get wildlife that comes up particularly to this one spot, and they've really wreaked havoc by grazing and digging here. I may need to sow a little bit more seed in this spot, but I bet the grass will grow even without it. Once I have all the topsoil spread out, I'm going to go around with the back of my rake and I'm going to smooth it out. At one point I had a little friend helping out, but he soon discovered that hard work just is not for him, and so he decided to go take a nap in the fairway while his buddy napped in the bunker. And the edges are starting to look a lot better again, and it shouldn't take long at all for the grass to grow right through it. I used a broom to brush off the edges of the green, but also to spread the dirt out in a manner that mixes it in with the grass but without doing any damage to the grass. And I used a garden rake to spread it out amongst the bigger spot, but I went very gently so that I don't harm the grass. Now you might think that it's my little buddies who have done some of the damage to the edges of the green, but it's actually been a different group of four-legged friends who have been spending all their time grazing around the edge of the putting green, and they never even booked a tee time. I had enough dirt left over that I went around as much of the green as I could and lightly top dressed it with the topsoil. My goal is to make the fairway nice and smooth so I can mow it at the lowest setting. And at some point in the future, maybe I'll look to upgrade to a fairway mower, but we're gonna have to make a lot more YouTube revenue before we can do that. I went around the green one last time and brushed all the excess dirt off, and then I took the last of the dirt I had and just spread it amongst the fairway the best I could. While I built this primarily just to be a putting green, I've had a ton of fun hitting chip shots into it, and I'd like to be able to do that out of a nice fairway and instead of off a mat. All in all, the green is looking better every week, and I really expect to see the grass take off in the next few weeks as the weather should be perfect. I'm going to keep working to get Augusta-like conditions come Masters Week, and in my next video I'll give a full explanation as to why I chose synthetic turf over grass, and I'll give you a full cost breakdown of the putting green build. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you soon.